So we know the issues, we know about energy, we know about the border, we know Joe Biden doesn't know what he's doing. We know all that, we get all that. But why do this? Why do this here tonight with Legacy PAC? Because there's a whole lot of people who have the passion to save this country who need help getting off the ground.
The purpose of Legacy PAC is to save America. That's our mission. That's what we really want to do because America's worth saving.
I am by trade, I'm a cybersecurity engineer. Okay, so this is my first run in politics. We need more conservative Republicans standing up and fighting for the Constitution.
We're an America First PAC, and we want to promote and help our up-and-coming candidates, and we're going to be holding the line for President Trump.
I joined the Army at 17 years old. My first day at my first unit, which was 25th Infantry, was September 10th, 2001. So the next day was 9/11. And I spent about a total of a decade between Iraq and Afghanistan in country. So my country means everything to me. When I realized that if people like myself who don't want to be politicians don't start stepping up and taking these seats, that nothing's going to change, then I said, okay, I'll do it.
Who deserves to lead the people of this country more than those who serve this country? So I'm behind every one of them. So let's make sure we get more veterans into power. I'm all for it.
Remember why you're involved. We have to make sure people remain humble and not engage in self-glorification. You are here for one reason, and that is to save the country. Period. End of story.
And for those candidates who are looking uphill and wondering how, keep your head down, focus on the target, and outwork everybody. And I promise you, you're not gonna lose. You're either gonna win on election night or you change the game on election night. So God bless you guys. Thank you so much, Legacy PAC.
Thank you, Legacy PAC.
Under this administration, they have deliberately opened the border to fundamentally change the fabric of our country.
I'm Jared Craig with Legacy PAC. We are here at Eagle Pass, Texas, to bring attention to the border crisis, to educate the voters, the citizens of the United States, and the candidates running for federal office, the importance of a secure border.
And at Legacy PAC, we want to bring candidates here to the border to see it firsthand, because there is nothing like being here, seeing this. We saw women and children climbing over barbed wire. There is no reason why we cannot secure this border. There is no reason to keep this open. This is not humane. So we need to get Victor and all these other good America First candidates into office.
We at Legacy PAC depend on your donation and support to support these projects. We can't do it without you. So please go on to legacypac.org and show your support.
And Stan, where's Stan? Stan is with Veterans for Trump.
Thank you, Martha.
Thank you all. We're honored. I know there are so many organizations represented here today.
We're sitting here tonight, but you're going to do very well. And I just had somebody write down, first of all, James and Sarah Pritchard, thank you very much. Yes. Great job. Thank you. We appreciate all the help. Stanley and Donna Fitzgerald.
Right here, sir.
Thank you very much. It's great. It's great that you're with us. Mike Acton.
How are you today, Brandon?
Doing well. How are you, Stan?
Doing good, sir. Thank you. So, Brandon, you had a surprise congressman announce he wasn't running for re-election, and you jumped in the race. You got Trump's endorsement and a lot of other significant endorsements. Can you tell people a little bit about who you are and your background, so our organization can learn about you?
Sure, absolutely. I grew up on a cattle ranch outside of Abilene, Texas. We raised Angus and Brangus beef cows. It was a 1,000-acre ranch out there. Some background on me: after growing up in that environment, I made my way up to Dartmouth for college, where I led the conservative newspaper, the Christian group, which we grew to be one of the largest student groups on campus, and had a lot of fun, stirring the pot on a very liberal campus. So left that and worked in finance for a few years. After that, just had to get back into the conservative fight. So I started a media business that helped conservative pundits break through internet. I started DC Inquirer, which is a pro-Trump, pro-America First conservative news outlet. We were within a few weeks of launching it, we were getting more Facebook engagement than the Washington Post. And I think that speaks to, one, our ability to break through censorship, but also the appetite amongst the conservative Republican base for some media that actually defends President Trump against the left. So have worked on that for the past several years, have been growing that outlet, which President Trump, by the way, also shares on his own social media. And then I also work on movies as well. So I was involved in the making of 2000 Mules, and I was also a producer of Police State. So that's a little bit of my background. I jumped in this race. My wife and I have been living here for about a year now. And as you said, it was very unexpected that this seat would open up, that Dr. Burgess would announce his retirement. So we jumped in the race as soon as he did. And look, the reason is that this is a very conservative district. It's a very pro-Trump area. So we've got to get a very strong conservative who's willing to go to Washington and fight, and not only fight for conservative values, but to defend President Trump and work right alongside him for the next 4 years when he's in office.
So Brandon, a lot of people, both sides of the aisle now, are concerned about the border, and you're ground zero. We endorse someone running against Gonzalez out there because he hasn't secured the border. What are your thoughts about what's going on with our border in Texas and the effects that this is going to have on our country?
Well, my thoughts are that this is an absolute disgrace. And I think that the uncomfortable truth that we have to always remember is that the crisis on the border under Biden for the past 2.5 years now is not a border crisis that is because Biden is bumbling and doesn't know what he's doing. It's entirely intentional. It's the result of deliberate policy proposals and deliberate policies from the Biden administration over the past 3 years to get rid of Trump's border policies and open our borders up to floods of illegal immigrants. Now, why are the Democrats doing that is another question. Is it because they thrive in an environment of chaos and lawlessness? I think that's part of it. I think part of it is that they're making the bet that they can import a large number of illegals who will eventually down the road be voters for them. But the reality is that it is entirely intentional, and we've got to realize that. And we've got to bring Trump back into the White House and work with him, not only to seal the border, but I think, frankly, to deport the millions of illegal immigrants that Biden has brought into our country.
I agree. And Tom Homan is on our advisory board, and he just announced that under a Trump administration, he would do just that. So we need people like yourself in Congress to make sure that happens. And Brandon, in closing, we still have banana republic indictments in multiple states against President Trump and friends of mine here in Georgia. What are your thoughts about what's going on with the weaponization of our justice system?
I think that this has to be a top priority for Republicans in Congress. The Constitution specifically gives Congress the power of the purse. And there's no doubt about the fact that the DOJ is being weaponized against Republicans, against conservatives, against Christians, pro-life activists, and of course against President Trump. And we've got to wake up and realize that we have the power to stop that in Congress by defunding the DOJ and defunding the FBI and these rogue executive agencies that are going after our side. And look, the broader reality is that we've got to wake up and realize that the Democrat Party that we're up against now, the one that's busting down the doors of pro-life activists, that's trying to lock up the leader of the opposition party, President Trump, that Democrat Party is very different than the Democrat Party of 30 years ago or 40 years ago. The days of Ronald Reagan and Tip O'Neill being good old buds and disagreeing on ideology, but being good friends otherwise are over. This is the Democrat Party that wants to lock up their political opposition. And we've got to realize that, and we've got to act accordingly.
Well, Brandon, I'm pleased to announce, because of your policies and your strong support of President Trump and your efforts to go forward and save our country, our organization has endorsed you. Unanimous vote. You have our full support, sir.
Well, thank you very much. It really genuinely is an honor, and I appreciate it.
You're very welcome. And how can people find your website?
It's BrandonGillForCongress.com. And you can also find me on social media. I'm Real Brandon Gill on Twitter, and then I'm on Facebook as well.
Well, thank you, brother. We will steer people to you and get our ground people in Texas coordinated with your campaign. So thank you again, Brandon, and reach out anytime if we could help you.
Great. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.